You know what it is. That's right. It's time to talk money with your money nerd and financial coach. Now, tighten those purse strings and open those ears. It's the Money Talk with Tiff podcast.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Tiffany's Take, where I answer your questions right here on the podcast. If you would like your question answered, go to www.moneytalkwitht.com/ask Tiffany, and I'll be more than happy to respond. So for this episode, I wanted to talk about lessons that I've learned from flight attendants and how we can use that when it comes to our money. So let's picture this. So I've gotten a lot of people reaching out like, oh, Tiffany, I wish, I could travel with you, and things like that. So let's picture this, right? You're on a flight. You've just settled into your seat. The flight attendant begins their safety demonstration. You all know the deal. You hear that familiar line, secure your own mask first before helping others, even your kids. It's a simple yet powerful reminder that you can't help anyone effectively if you're not taken care of first. So in the world of personal finance, this translates to ensuring that your financial well-being before lending a hand to others. And that is something that I feel like as I was sitting in my plane seat and I thought about them saying that, secure your mask even before the kids. I have my daughter sitting on my lap. I'm like, if you think about it, if I don't secure my stuff first, then I won't have the strength or the energy to secure my daughters. And so I wanted to break that down just a little bit into some key lessons that we can learn just based on that one line that they give us every single flight. Don't let it go over your head, right? So here's one thing. Prioritize your financial safety. So just like oxygen at 30,000 feet up in the air, your financial health is non-negotiable. So start by setting up an emergency fund. This is your personal oxygen mask. It's a safety net for all of that unexpected turbulence, like a job loss, medical bills, anything around that. You have that oxygen so that way you have room to breathe, right? So that's number one, prioritize your financial safety. 2, budget for stability. So think of your budget as the seatbelt that keeps you secure. So track your spending to avoid a financial freefall. It's not about cutting costs. It's understanding where your money goes and making it work for you. And that's one thing that I always preach about on the podcast. Don't look at your budget as a restriction. Look at it as giving you permission to do the things that you need to do. And now you can look at it like a seatbelt, right? Invest in yourself first. So that's number 3. So before you extend financial help to others, ensure that you're contributing to your retirement and your savings plan. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup or give from an empty wallet. And so at the end of the day, you really have to make sure that you're taken care of. I just had this conversation with someone the other day. I'm like, I have to be a good manager of my money because if I need something, who am I going to call? Even though everybody can call me, and get information from me or what have you, who am I to call if things hit the fan? And so that's where number 3 comes in. Always make sure that you're saving something. So even if you don't have any investments, maybe you're putting $20 into a savings account every month. Something is better than nothing. All right. Number 4, learn to say no. Now, this is a big one and one that I have my no muscle has been flexed so much because at the end of the day, going back to number 3, you can't pour from an empty cup. And that goes for money, that goes for time, that goes for emotions, that goes for everything. And so just like a flight attendant might need to decline a request for safety reasons, it's okay to say no when lending money doesn't align with your financial goals. You can decline a request for safety reasons, for your safety. Offer advice or other forms of support instead. That's one thing that I am heavy on. I will give you a resource. I will help you out as much as I can. But if I can't financially do it, then I have no problem saying no. Number 5, stay informed and calm. So in a crisis, flight attendants remain calm and informed, guiding passengers to safety. So similarly, in financial decisions, educate yourself and remain composed. Knowledge is your co-pilot to financial freedom. Everything will work out. Eventually, you'll look back at this time and you'll say, dang, I went through a lot, but I'm glad I'm on the other side. Right? So just think about that. Make sure that you gain as much knowledge as you can. And also it helps from other people getting over on you. You know, if somebody comes to you and they ask you for something like, oh, I need this for such and such, and you're not educated on what it is that they're asking for, they could say anything, right? So knowledge is power. Knowledge is your co-pilot to financial freedom. That's why you're here, right? So those are the 5 things that I took away from what a flight attendant says and how it can also apply to your money. So remember that taking care of your financial situation doesn't make you selfish. It makes you responsible. Securing your own financial oxygen mask first, you position yourself to help others more effectively and sustainably. Another thing that people run into is that they try to help someone or they try to help a cause or what have you, and then they can't sustain that effort because they didn't make sure that their mask was in place first. So I just wanted to run through those. Hopefully it was helpful for you. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on the podcast, go to www.moneytalkwitht.com/Ask Tiffany. I even have a way for you to leave a voice memo so people can hear you on the podcast if you want to be heard. That would be great. I have tried it a couple times before, but I want more. So if you're listening to my voice and you would like to listen to your voice on the podcast, please use that option as well. So please share your thoughts on any of this or personal stories about how you've applied these lessons or will apply these lessons into your own life. I would love to hear from you on social media or via email, however you want to get in contact with me. Also, make sure that you subscribe and leave a review. So not just to the podcast, but make sure you subscribe to the newsletter too. I've gotten back on sending a weekly newsletter and it has a lot of good information on it. So you can sign up for that on the website as well. So until next time, keep your finances flying high and steady. And I look forward to chatting with you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening, joining, and being a part of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast this week. You can check Tiff out every Thursday for a new Money Talk podcast. But if you just can't wait until next week, you can listen to previous podcast episodes at moneytalkwitht.com or follow Tiff on all social media platforms at Money Talk with T. Until next time, spend wise by spending less than you make. A word to the money wise is always sufficient.